This is the development and pre-production in progress feedback for EPL Productions. So just looking through, we've got the GIF at the bottom. I think on your home page we need something saying final products. Again, if you look at Terra House's example, you can see that they've got the project brief, how it will be marked, and then they've got space for their final products to be put on there. They've also got music on it. So again, that's something that needs finishing off. I think this would have been student one's job, is to make sure that that's kind of on there. So this is incomplete. Going through crew profiles. Okay, good. Yeah, and we've got favourite trailers. Okay, we don't have a photo for Liz or her favourite trailer, so this profile is incomplete. There's no details there at all. So that needs to be dealt with. And then we've got Esther's down there. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, good. Got summer trailers, which is good. You've added them on there. Excellent. Okay, then we've got the evaluation. This is very detailed. Very good. Well done. So that's a good piece of work there by Leshay. Okay, just so you know as well, that's a real concern if we have that, because it then basically demonstrates that the student hasn't had any input into this project. So that is actually almost kind of drawing attention to lack of contribution there. Okay, let's go through the sections in. So under horror genre research, the first target, which I've noticed a lot of students aren't doing, is putting up the work that you did for me back in June and July. So as well as the summer trailer, there was the timeline for The Conjuring 2, and there was also the edit that you did in class. You had a week of lessons to use Shutterstock footage and to get it into a structure that demonstrated those sections that are in Conjuring. So it was using fades and all that sort of stuff. So that should be on this section as well, and I think you did one of those individually or in twos. Other thing is your Cabin in the Woods analyses should be on there as well. That all goes under your research section, and you can label it by name. Okay, so looking through, we've got stock characters for a slasher. Unfortunately, Orphan isn't a slasher, but never mind. We've got Final Girl, we've got Don Blonde. Okay, good, and we're using some sort of using GIFs there as well, so that's good. Okay, good. Iconic horrors, I'll come back to that while it's loading. And then iconic films. Okay, so this is well under produced here. This should have been the 20 odd films. So this section's missing quite a lot here. It's missing our mood boards. This is very text heavy. So the first impressions I'd get for this, I'd probably be giving it a kind of level 2, kind of basic, or maybe probably a level 2 basic really, because there's just no visual examples. It's not well presented. It's just text put into a Prezi, so you need to work with this to get this better. I mean, at least put the trailers in and some screen grabs and stuff like that. This section is incomplete, so I'd be giving that a U. This section is okay, as I've said. That's probably looking at a C, because you've got some stuff in there. Again, you could put the trailers in if you wanted to. So I'm concerned that this section for horror genre is missing a substantial amount of work. If we look under horror genre research, again here we've got a subgenre. We don't have a mood board. We haven't used anything like this. All of our iconic horror films, I mean, you can see how many there are on here that we studied in class. They've not been typed up. There's none of the semiotic stuff, and our horror theories aren't in there either. So this is quite underwhelming, and I'd say this section as a whole is bringing the thing down. It's incomplete. Moving on to textual analyses. I don't have anything there, so again that's incomplete. That would be a U grade. There's no posters, there's no magazines, there's no trailers, there's no film crits. So far this is now starting to come down to a sort of U grade because it's incomplete. Concepts, we've got our thing at the top. We've only got 2 concepts though, by the looks of it, which is a concern. So I've got Esther's and I've got Panache's. I don't have any work here by Liz. You've got the pros and cons, which is really good, so well done. And we've got your voices over the top of them. Yeah. Okay, moving on to our concept. Now, what I don't have is the actual final the final treatment. So this is now 3 weeks outstanding, and we can't really go any further. You can't make your trailer if you don't know what the concept is. So again, looking at Terra House, looking at their development work here for their concept, we can see under their treatment, they've now done a separate emaze where they've talked about things like what they're going to be doing, what their roles will be, 3-act structure for the thing. They've talked about what the key scenes are. They've talked about Todorov. They've talked about who their audience is and the age rating for the film. They've talked about locations, and they've actually got images of those locations they would need to film in. And they've talked most importantly about the similar films that are influencing this. So where I think I asked you to look at least 3 influences, and you did this in the summer when you did the pictures for the first examples for the summer trailers. And then we've got the trailers that you've looked at that are going to be a big influence on this. And then finally, we've got our subtext, our inferred meaning about what this film is actually about. So again, when we come to yours, that section isn't done. The deadline for that was 2 weeks ago, so by Friday it will be 3 weeks later. So that's a real concern. You can't really make a storyboard, you can't really go any further with this now until you have your treatment done, but we don't have that done. What it seems apparent at the moment is that there's an underwhelming contribution from Liz on this. That is obviously quite exposed based upon the fact that your names are here, and I don't have a concept from her. Looking at our last section, which is summer trailers, so that was obviously that, yeah. Yeah, so again, textual analysis, I don't have any posters, I don't have any magazines looked at, I don't have any of the crits written up, and I don't have any of the trailers written up. So, so far for your development, we'd probably be looking at a E- with a U grade for certain students that don't have any contribution on here so far. Okay, going on to our progress for our pre-production work, I can see that we've got a trailer questionnaire here, and that's all we have. So there's no evidence of a magazine questionnaire. Also, there are magazine questions here, but it's not been presented in a very rewarding way. And by rewarding, I mean ways that I can give you grades for presentation. As you can see here, they've done them here, and they've embedded videos for them to be interactive. And they've got the stuff here. So a little bit concerned about this section in that it's not, it's missing the poster analysis. There's no results. I can see from looking at here that no one's actually answered this questionnaire yet. And we've got 2 days left to turn that into this, which is results, and then this, which is analysis of the results, and then this, which is the feedback from WhatsApp, and then this, which is the conclusion of how we're going to use this. Now, obviously, with a lack of treatment and with a lack of audience research, you can't actually go any further with the production of this film until these stages are set. So what this is saying to me is, as a team, you're not using 3 hours. If we take an hour off of your 4 hours every week to do your exam stuff, we're not using that 3 hours, and we're also not really using effectively the 3 hours of class time that I'm giving you every single week. So I've got some real concerns, particularly as we're only 2 weeks away from finishing this whole section. Looking at print designs, I have none. So again, this is incomplete. I've got no evidence that you've done anything for the last 2 weeks on this. This should be again, to show you the examples of what we're aiming for, because this is what you have to produce. We can see that the front cover drafts should be there with influences of what has influenced them. We should also see the poster drafts. So here we can see that they've chosen 6 posters, they've written about them, then they've gone and drawn some posters, and then they've developed them into digital designs. So by Friday, which is 2 days from now, all these 2 pages should have been completed. Currently, I have no evidence of any of this being done on here at all, which is a real concern about the dynamics that are happening in this group. Under the production section, should be under pre-production, we have mood board and artwork. So here we've got a mood board for that, which is good. I would also suggest that you change the GIF for each page, because when I click in each of these sections, a lot of them are it up there. So under this section, they're all kind of it. You might want to think about just changing that up a little bit. Carrying on then, so we don't have a colour scheme. We've got a colour mood board, but we're not really thinking, because we don't have audience research, and part of your audience research is to find out what colour schemes we should be working with. We don't really have anything to now guide that section. So there is a mood board missing here, which was costumes and characters. So again, this is only 2/3 complete. So there's a real theme here of incomplete work, but the mood board, at least we've got started, and you do have some comments on there, so that's good. And then finally, our storyboard. I don't have any videos done, so again, concern with this is the camera work. We've got 4 tasks, we've got 2 videos, a timeline with the 35 shots written out on it, and then a storyboard, which you turn into an animatic next week. I don't have any evidence of the first 2. It has now been 6 hours of class time last week, 3 hours of homework time, and this is now the second lesson of the second week, which means that we're approaching 9 hours of work on this, and I don't have a video, so I'm quite concerned again as to the level of completion. So overall, from giving this a predicted grade, currently we're probably looking at really around about the sort of E grade, if we consolidate it, with certain students having nothing to demonstrate, which means that they'll be on a U grade. I think we need to have a conversation about how these group dynamics are working, and if certain students need to maybe be removed from the group.